All right, welcome back to Mike's road trip back up to the Sequoia National Park. We actually are highlighting Hume Lake on this particular video. So we took Route 198 into Sequoia National Park. We made our way past the giant forest and we made our way into Hume Lake. Hume Lake Recreational Center, as you can see. There's actually a small town in the Sequoia National Forest called Hume, and there's several different businesses. There's a lot of amenities. There's actually a gas station, there's a coffee shop, there's a general store, there's a pizza joint. There's actually even an apparel shop and a gift shop. So there's a lot of stuff you can buy at Hume Lake. As I said, there's also gas. There's a couple places with free Wi-Fi. And here's a map of the Hume Lake area, so you can see that it's quite developed. So there's a lot of things to do there other than just enjoy the nature. So here we're driving along. This is 10 Mile Road headed to General's Highway. And that is Hume Lake Ponderosa Lodges. And there's Hume Lake itself. And here's some scenery of the actual Hume Lake area. And I'm highlighting how it's deep in the mountains in the Sequoia National Park. And there, Hume Lake is actually a man-made dam. It was a meadow, and back in the day, it was actually a sawmill. So I'll talk about the sawmill. I'll talk about the recovery of the area as far as the environmental concerns. So here's Hume Lake. We drove to the other side of Hume Lake, and there's a day area where you can picnic, and there's some camping sites. There's a lot of things to do around the whole Hume Lake area, so it's definitely a destination you want to check out. And here there's a sign that talks about how in between 1905 and 1917, Hume Lake was actually used as a sawmill, and they actually had a flume from Hume Lake all the way to Sanger, California, which is about 45 to 75 miles, depending on the different reports that you get. It was one of the longest flumes in the world at the time, actually. And here's some images of the flume. Here you go. This is the route. The flume itself has been picked apart a long time ago, but as you can see, it was about 50 to 75 miles. It was the longest flume in the world at one point. Here's some historic pictures of Hume Lake. As you can see, there's the flume right there at the very beginning of it, and there's some of the factories and some historic photos of the logging that was occurring in the area. So it's quite interesting. As you can see, they were cutting down the big redwood giant sequoias.
Or the railroad ties that won't catch fire when burning cinders fall on them. And here is a mill where the logs are brought from the forest and stored in a mill pond where they can be easily moved. As fast as the mill can cut them, they are floated over to the conveyor belts and brought up into the mill. The bark is removed and ground up for use as an insulating material against heat. Then the big saws begin cutting off enormous boards. The whole log is moved past the bandsaw as each board is cut. The log moves back and then comes forward for the cutting of the next board. After this, the boards with bad parts in them are cut. The trimmerman in the angel's roost, as it is called, can raise and lower his saws to cut out the bad sections and save the rest. Then the boards are checked and graded for quantity. From here on, with the drying and the seasoning, our redwood trees have become lumber. Instead of enormous trees miles away in the forest, we have timbers and boards being sorted and piled, stacked as high as a small tree by this hilky piler. And when the wood becomes seasoned, it will be shipped all over the world, taken from mills like this and transported to wherever redwood is needed.
Okay, so as you can see, that was a classic documentary of the sawmill in the redwood in the Hume Lake area. And there's a picture of a guy that caught a bunch of fish. I'll show you a bunch of fishing videos in a second. And the area is just recovered, and it's really, it's been thriving ever since. So it's just beautiful up there. Really, really nice scenic area. You can see some people on the side of the lake there getting ready to do some fishing. There are boats for rent as well, so you can rent some boats and actually get out on the lake and enjoy some fishing, or just get some fresh air and get some scenic views of the lake area. Here's a couple shops at Hume Lake. There's Ponderosa Lodge, and there's also a Hume apparel store right next to Ponderosa Lodge. You can see a nice large area that you can picnic and play volleyball and just relax on the grass. There's all the boats you can rent. So I'll let the rest of the video speak for itself. Enjoy, thanks for watching, and come back soon for some more nature videos.